Good evening, dear members. It is today, the 27th of November, 2025, Thursday, that we always bring for you a professional development hour that we have abbreviated ProDev hour. I am Betty Auma, the National Secretary for Education, Professional Standards and Discipline of Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union. I would like to warmly welcome you to today's discussion. Let us pray. Loving Father, we thank you this evening for having granted us this time. We pray that God will be with us during this discussion. May all that we shall receive be to your ears, and may it be for the good of our professional development. I pray, believing and trusting you have heard us through Christ our Lord. Amen. Dear members of the Fraternity of Science and other well-wishers who have joined us in this forum, I would like to welcome you to this discussion of today, putting in mind that our world is a world of academics. We know that the world we live in is a world that we need to do a lot of research in order for us to have discoveries and make improvements on the standards of living that we have. Especially for us, the teachers, you are aware that we need to do a lot of continuous professional development by going back for further studies and doing that. Also, in line with the new curriculum we have today, this curriculum encourages a lot of research work that we have to do, meaning that both the teacher and the learner has to do a lot of research. Therefore, it is very prudent that we get to understand in depth how we are able to do research. Some of our articles could be very good and you need to publish it, but we have always only enjoyed for people who have published. Could we also get to know how we do that? This great evening, I present to you Dr. Eros Patrick Abedigamba, who is the head of Department Physics at Kyambogo University and a lecturer of physics. I have known him for quite some time. He has helped me through many sessions, and I have liked his expertise, especially in the research field. And we felt this evening he could help us to internalize some of the concepts probably we have learned in class, others that we have done practically and probably we didn't know how to do it so well. I would like to welcome him. I may not have given enough introduction about himself. I would request him to give further introduction and take us through this session. Dr. Eros Patrick, you are most welcome.
Okay, thank you very much, Betty, for the brief introduction. I'm going to put my video just for about 1 minute so that the face and the voice are connected, so that people get to know me, those that I have not met. Yes, that's me. Hoping that colleagues who are here are able to at least look at me. I will turn off the video so that the connectivity is much better. Just like Betty mentioned, I'm Oirot Patrick Abedigamba. I'm the current head of physics department at Kyambogo University, and I'm also a senior lecturer. Betty requested me to talk about publishing research, and good enough, at Kyambogo University, Department of Physics, I lecture research methods to master students. So I'm going to be sharing with you some of the things that I teach and some of the things that I've learned over a period of time. I'm a teacher by profession. I trained as a teacher I taught in school, and I'm hoping that some of the colleagues with whom we taught are part of this. So let's start. The first aspect is why do we have to do research? Why do people do research? Why do we have to publish our research? And I want to start by saying that we do research in order to discover or find new information, generate new knowledge. And the most interesting thing is that as we are trying to find this new knowledge, we are indirectly or directly also solving problems. And it becomes more interesting when we solve problems that are in our societies. With the technology coming, some of the kind of research people do are geared towards new kind of technologies. And some of the research that we do, in the long run, they help us to make some decisions, especially policies, helping us to make a decision on certain policies. For example, people in education. Also, we do research in order to help us collaborate with others. You will get to know, for those who have not known, that if we are doing research, sometimes it is very, very difficult to do this thing alone. That requires you now to work with others. And connecting this with the lower curriculum, there is the aspect of making learners even to work in groups, in teams. And why do they do that? The reason is simple, so as to forge some kind of collaboration, working together. The interesting one is making extra money. What do I mean by this? In most cases, research are funded. People write proposals. They attract grants. And in some cases, these grants come, and when they come, you are given an opportunity to even pay salaries for yourself. Therefore, this aspect, it makes research very, very interesting. The second last point is that when you are discovering, when you're generating new knowledge among your peers, they tend to recognize you as somebody who is making contribution in the society by generating new knowledge. Lastly, we do research, for example, those who want to get qualification. For example, Master of Science in Physics, Master of Science in Chemistry, Biology, Mathematics, and so forth. One of the requirements is that you must have passed your research, your dissertation. And even those who are doing postgraduate diploma, people who are doing PhD, one of the requirements is that you must do research, and after that research must be published, either in form of an article, journal article, or in the form of a report. Okay, and sometimes we use the word dissertation or thesis. So those are the interesting things why we do research. And it becomes very interesting with the new curriculum where research, just like Betty mentioned, research is the key component for both the learners and the instructors. I also want to mention something about some of the bitter truths, things that people don't want to hear about. One of them is that any research that is done and is not published, it is a waste of time. These days now, we even go ahead and we say, if you have done research and you have just put it in your cupboard or in your bag, you're just wasting time. You have to be able to share these interesting findings with the rest. The second one is that sometimes you hear people talk that I was thinking of A, B, C, D. And what I'm trying to communicate here is thinking about a solution to a problem without solving it is like dreaming. And the moment you see somebody has solved it, you start regretting. So the best thing is when you think about a solution to a problem, write it down, publish it. That is how the world will get to know that you are the one who has generated this new knowledge. The third, last point, and a bitter truth, is that as somebody who is generating new knowledge in academia, you should struggle so much to publish. And there's a saying, if you don't publish, then you have no option, but you will only perish. Therefore, our problem, and I always keep telling my students that the problem is that we have a lot of solutions to problems, but we tend not to write these solutions to problems down. And that's why when you look around, majority of the papers that we read published, if you compare Europe and Africa, majority of them are coming from Europe, Asia, and elsewhere. Now, as we are talking about publishing, we are talking about sharing this new information that we are generating with other people. But there are certain things that can also damage our images. There are certain no-go area that you should not publish your work, that you should not send your work to. And I've got two things that I would like to caution each of us. One is what we call predatory journal. What are predatory journals? These are journals, I will use the word fly by night, meaning that when you send your brilliant ideas, something that you have labored, you have put in a lot of efforts, you send the paper, you send the article now, in the morning, they will respond. Your paper has been accepted for publication. In most cases, all what they want is to pay a lot of money. There are so many of these journals. And I encourage you, when you are free, to go on the internet and just say lists of predatory journals. They prey on you. They pretend that they are authentic, yet they are not authentic. So that is just a word of caution that there are those journals that are there. The other one is what we call hijacked journals. What are hijacked journals? These are actually fake journals, fake websites, pretending to impersonate legitimate journals. There are journals that are very, very legitimate, and we know them. These are very, very good publishing houses. I always tell students that the moment you hear about a journal, I will use Banda Journal of Science and Technology, then know something is not right, because it sounds as something that is not authentic. But when you hear something, Elsevier, as a publisher, these are publishing houses that are recognized internationally. Now, what these people tend to do, they tend to fake, they tend to relate themselves, but they are fake. They are not actually genuine. So there are two key things here: predatory journals and hijacked journals. So you should stay away if you are supposed to publish your work, and if you want the work to go very, very far. Now, how do you choose credible journals? How do you find yourself not going for predatory? How do you find yourself not going for hijacked journals? We have where we can get this information. There's what we call sciencedirect.com. Sciencedirect.com is a database for all credible journals. All credible journals are indexed in Science Directory, but there are many other databases. But I will use this because this is legitimate. I will use this to help us understand. How do you do it? Think of an idea that you want to publish or some keyword. And I'm going to demonstrate this. You go on sciencedirect.com. For example, I've punched in a keyword, solar cooker. Why? Because I do research on solar cooker. And once you do this, it has returned for me, or it will return for you, about 3,513 results on solar cookers. You can now scan through and see the kind of journals where these ideas on solar cookers have been published. For example, when you look at the first one, it shows that this work, experimental study of nanofluid-based indirect solar cooker, energy and exergy analysis, was published in solar energy, material, and solar cells. That is the journal. That journal is credible. If you want to publish, assuming your idea is on solar cooker, you should start thinking of targeting such a journal. When you go to the second one, you do the same. The journal is renewable energy. Renewable energy journal is credible journal. There are so many of these. There are about 3,513 you choose. That's one of the ways of identifying credible journals. Another area is what we call archive. Other people call it, I don't know how you pronounce it, it is arxiv.org, archive. When you go there, you will have a provision where you choose the subject area. I've used physics. If you're in biology, change it to biology. If you're in mathematics, change it to mathematics. If you have decided to put physics, it will give you all the branches of physics that we know in alphabetical order. For example, the first one is astrophysics. People are doing astrophysics. And interestingly, in the new lower curriculum, we have this aspect of astrophysics. We have the aspect of planets, stars and planets. We have the solar systems. We have the aspect of satellites and the communications. All those can be grouped under astrophysics and space science. You can still click on that. Then they will tell you the different journal articles that are in astrophysics. If you are dealing in condensed matter, if you are dealing in environmental physics, all of them are there. So the key thing is this link, which is called archive.org. You just go there, then you will be able to identify the different journals. But I also want to mention something. Archive.org is where all ideas that people are working on every day are posted. People normally ask, how do I get research ideas? Please, if you want to get research ideas on the different aspects of science, please visit archive.org. So this is what I've explained. If you have put physics, you'll see all the different areas of physics up to quantum physics in alphabetical order, mathematical physics is there, general relativity, and so forth. If you're in mathematics, it is the same. So just put the different areas of science. And not necessarily even computer science is here. Philosophy is even here. So just put the main area that you are interested in. And then I have another link where you can get ideas, research ideas. And this is more of social science related research. And the link is the www.ssrn.com. It is Social Science Research Network. And what is this mission? That an idea that somebody has published now must be shared now. So it is a site for sharing, rapid sharing of information. Or if you have an idea that you're already working on and you don't want other people to work on, you put it here. It is a way of preventing others from continuing with such ideas. So the key thing here is the www.ssrn.com. Just visit that website. You'll get so many ideas. You will even punch. You have a provision of punching your keyword on what is of interest to you. The other one is now, assuming now you're able to publish your work, how do you now share this work so that people now get to know you? Remember, you want to also collaborate with others. You want to be able to write grants with people. Some of the people, not necessarily in Uganda, probably in South Africa, probably in China, probably in the US, in Europe, how in Asia. So how do you share your work? There are two things that I want to talk about. One is the ORCID.org. Please, if you don't have an account, set up one. It's for free. You don't need to pay anything. It is a way how for every paper that you have published, automatically it is linked there. The second one is the Google Scholar, which is scholar.google.com. Please, for every work that you have published, put it there. The moment you put it there, people will get to discover. In fact, there's a provision where people will even follow what you are doing. And that is how you're able to start collaborating with different people. The other one, there are two other platforms. One is ScienceGate.app, and the other one is ResearchGate.net. These are the two platforms where you can also discover different scientific knowledge, and you will be in position to stay connected with the rest of people doing research in the world. So if you want, you have an idea, even if you don't have an idea, just open, create whatever for yourself, you know, a profile for yourself, and keep liking, following other people. That is how people will get to know that, hey, there's somebody who's of interest in this area. How can I now collaborate? Then they will be in position to write to you and collaborate with you. So it is ScienceGate and ResearchGate. The one that is popular is ResearchGate. Very few people know about ScienceGate, but there's also ScienceGate. ScienceGate is strictly for science things. ResearchGate is for everything, not necessarily science. So please take note of that. And then there's this thing that is very, very interesting. And what is that? Whoever has done research, you must have had a situation where you want to get a paper, a research article that has been written, for example, by somebody in Europe, by somebody in South Africa, by somebody in Kenya, by somebody in Uganda. But as you are planning to download this paper, it tells you access restricted. You're at home, you're not at work, so you cannot download this paper. Now, for a developing country like where we are, there's what somebody has done is called Science Hub. Put on Google Science Hub. In fact, one of the slogans that they have is removing barriers in the way of science. I've published a paper. Even myself, I cannot access the paper. So what they've done, they say just get the title of the paper, put on Google Science Hub, click on the first link. It will take you to a place like what I'm showing. You punch in the title of the work. If it is on student performance in physics in Eastern Uganda, and you want to get that paper, you cannot get it, punch it here and click open. That paper, you will be in position to open that particular paper. As an example, I have this paper, which is saying recent residential application of low temperature solar collector. I cannot get that paper. It is saying get access, and they're asking get access through your institution. Remember, I'm not at Chambogo at the moment. I'm at home, meaning I cannot access this paper. What this thing is saying, Science Hub is saying, just get the title of this paper, copy it. Once you have copied it, go back, punch it in this link, and then click open. Once you click open, it will open for you the paper, and you will be in position to download the paper. That is one of the ways of getting a restricted paper. The second aspect is if you have somebody, for example, who is in Europe, who is in America, write this person with the title of the journal. It is highly possible that this person is attached to an institution where they have access. They will be in position to download the paper to you, and you will be in position to read the journal article. That is one of the ways of getting restricted papers. Now, I also get this point when students ask, how do I now read a paper which is more than 20 pages, more than 10 pages, within a very, very short time and understand what is in this paper? There's a very nice paper on how the title is interesting, how to read a paper. It is only 3 pages by a professor called Keshav from Canada, University of Waterloo. He published this, a very simple, easy way of how to read a paper within a very, very short time and understand what is in a paper. I'm going to request for those who are interested in learning more, just download this, put on Google how to read a paper by Keshav. 3 pages. Within a very short time, you will be in a position to understand. Because these are some of the questions students always ask. You have given me a paper which is more than 10 pages. How can I read it within a very short time and understand what is in that paper? So please download this. Another part is, how do I get research problems? This is what people keep asking. How do I get research problems? I always tell them, and this is the easiest way of identifying. One, when you get a research article published by somebody, remember, it must be credible, in a credible journal. Always go at the back, you will always have possible future work to be done. That is one of the ways of identifying a research problem. The other one, which is a bit difficult, is to ensure that you read everything in the paper and you look for a mistake that has been made in the paper. That is another way of identifying a research problem. Another one is to look, now this is more academic, you look at the dissertation, master's dissertation, or a PhD thesis of different people who have graduated. You look at what they have failed to do, which is always in the last chapter of either a dissertation or a thesis, usually chapter number 5, depending on the arrangement. And there's a website which is very interesting, where you get all the dissertation, master's dissertation, or PhD thesis of everybody in the world. It is oatd.org. There's another one called the ProQuest Dissertation and Thesis Global. Those are where you just get someone's work, look at what this person could not do. And there are reasons why. One is because of the time. A PhD is for 3 years minimum. A master is for 2 years. I mean, in Uganda, 2 years minimum. If you go to UK, 1 year minimum. You look at what these people could not do, and that becomes part of your possible things to do. The last one is that there are certain things that you cannot finish when you start doing research. Always there's room for where somebody else is supposed to continue. Look at the report. If it is a report, look at the report, see if there were certain things that they could not do. Maybe it was financial or some other reasons. For example, if you are somebody outside Uganda and you are studying in Uganda, you need a study permit to study in Uganda. It means your stay in Uganda is restricted. Whatever you are doing must be done within the study visa that you have been given, meaning that it is highly possible that there are certain things that you will not be able to do. That is what you should document so that somebody else is in position to start from where you have stopped. So those are the different areas. Of course, there's a nice one. By looking around, if you are doing social science research, looking around and seeing a problem and say, no, I saw a problem like this, in this place. I want to tackle it. Those who are more into, applications, computer science related, is more of writing computer programs to solve problems. Those are slightly different, but in most cases, you just have to look at the future work that people were not able to do. So this is the link that I told you, where you have almost all the dissertation and the thesis of everybody in the world. It is just a matter of putting keyword or the name of the person or the abstract or the subject, and you search. So I encourage those who want to pursue further research to visit this. This is for the other one. Okay, open dissertation, that's how it looks. The link is in the slides. And then what I need to mention is that as we do research, remember I said in research there's money. When you write grants, they give you money to implement the research. And some of the research, you pay yourself because you will be working. You pay yourself. Now, if you're paying yourself, then there are certain things that you must be able to do as you're doing this research. This research must be able to address the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Any research that is not linked to any of these 17 Sustainable Development Goals, you are not helping us. In fact, people will want to put their money, will want to give you money, if what you want to do is addressing one of these. And for me and you, we are in number 4, quality education. Meaning if your work is targeting education related, improving the quality of taught physics, improving the quality of taught biology, taught mathematics, physical education, history, geography, someone will give you money. If your work is addressing the aspect of zero hunger, that I want to do research that will improve on the quality of food crops so that in the long run, people don't die of hunger, somebody will give you money to do that. If your work is on clean energy, and that clean energy must be affordable, things of solar cooking using solar, renewable energy, people will give you money, and so forth. So there are 17 of these. And these 17, these are UN Sustainable Development Goals, and each country must prioritize its research agenda to fit in these 17. And in Uganda, we have the National Development Plan, NDP. Now we are in National Development Plan 4. Therefore, if we are doing research, our research must fit in those plans. And it's what they call Uganda Vision 2040, that by 2040, where do we want Uganda to be in terms of agriculture, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of ICT, in terms of human capital development? How many PhD people who are going to be generating for us new knowledge are supposed to be there? Therefore, we need researchers. How many PhD holders do we need by 2040? So that Uganda can also now boast and say, you know what? We are able to generate new knowledge in the following area. We are able to solve the following problems. That is what we should be able to fit ourselves to. And to do that, we must master the art of doing research, generating new knowledge. Now, as we do this research, there's one thing that I want to mention. There are so many softwares that you can always use. And for me, I want to tell you, these softwares, in real sense, they're supposed to be bought. But people are trying to get simpler solutions to almost all problems. And I encourage you, if you want a certain software and you don't have money, there's a link which is called getintopc.com. You go on Google, put getintopc.com. Put any of the software that you want. For example, we have a software called EndNote. EndNote is one of the softwares that you can use for doing automatic referencing if you're using Microsoft Word. Okay? But we have so many. We have got Mendeley, we have got Zotero, you have got RefWorks, you have got so many of these. There are many. But majority of them will ask you to pay money. And people have got for us solutions. You just go, there's a link, publicly available for free, getintopc.com. You put in, for example, EndNote, put it there, it will give you the latest EndNote version. Download it, and you will be in position to use it. Now, the other issue is how do you use it? That's another issue. And I always tell students that things have changed, not like during those days when we were studying. All these things, for example, you can go on Google, get YouTube, and say how to use EndNote. Now that you have it, how do you use it? So please, I encourage you to visit getintopc.com. It is a very, very powerful and useful link for getting almost all what you need, okay? And then installation of EndNote is so easy. You can also do the same. Put on Google how to install EndNote. You become more of an expert in this. Then there's another powerful software that I want to mention, talk about. Very, very simple to use, easy to use. called Origin. And this is one of the software that we use. We teach our students. You use it for analyzing your data, plotting your graph, manipulating your graph. This Origin is simple to use. Once you have learned Origin, you can now extend to other softwares. We have got Python. We have got MATLAB. People who are in social science, SPSS. People who are in mathematics, R, and so forth. There are so many softwares. But my point is that there is no research that you will do that will not require you to use a software. And personally, I would recommend Origin. Why? Because it's easy to use. Whether you are in the art section, whether you are in science section, it is easy to use and it is convenient. The quality of the graph itself is very, very okay. But if you want to go extra mile, there's a nice software that is free of charge called Python. In fact, everybody is now talking Python. So please, once you are done with Origin, you can migrate to Python. But Origin is the simplest to use. I want to thank you very much for listening. But there are two things for those who are in physics. I want to mention something, especially the teachers, physics teachers. There are two journals that I will encourage you to really keep checking almost every day. And the reason is simple. It is where they publish quality work on taught component of physics. One of them is European Journal of Physics. What does it do? The authors publish mistakes, the common mistake that we get in physics, that nobody has ever told us, that we tend to teach them the way we get them in textbook. But this particular journal, people who publish in this journal, they tend to point out where the mistakes are. In other words, they correct what are mistakes, the mistakes that are in textbooks. Two, they also publish new innovative practicals. Imagine a slightly different ways of doing an experiment on acceleration due to gravity, or something new on how to determine force constant. That is where they keep publishing, and it's for free. You download these papers for free. So you can use those information to help your students learn new ways of doing things. The other one is the physics education. It has got nothing to do with why the factors affecting the performance of students in physics. No. Still, it is how do you improve the quality of the taught component of physics. For example, how can you determine the spring constant, the force spring constant? Or how do you determine the specific heat capacity of water? Not from what we know, a new way of doing this. So these two journals, I encourage the physics teachers to always visit, download the new information, use them to help you improve the quality of taught physics. I'm going to stop there. Thank you very much.
Can we put our hands together to say thank you very much to Dr. Euros Patrick for this wonderful presentation we have had. It is a very rare presentation, which is also perceived by only interested people in the work that we plan to do. This is a field that attracts a lot of interests, especially for people who would like to gain new knowledge in new situations. I have liked the presentation, and I wish I'd done this before. I would have been a better researcher. Nevertheless, it is giving me an insight that I can be a very good researcher if I could follow what Dr. has presented this evening. Dear colleagues, I know many are very grateful. I can see in the messages we are sending. It is a good presentation and we have enjoyed it. But it would be very nice if we use this time to interact with the presenter. Probably you could be having certain areas that you didn't understand much. I mean, this time we can ask questions. Please, you can raise up your hand and you're able to be received to ask question. I already saw Mr. Kazibwa raising his hand. I don't know, he has lifted it down. I saw Stephen Kazibwa raising a hand up. Members, you're free to ask questions, to give your comments to this wonderful presentation. I begin and welcome Stephen Kazibwa. Welcome.
Yes, thank you so much, Madam Betty, and thank you so much, Dr. Patrick, for the great presentation. My input or my question is that with the current technology of artificial intelligence, what is your take on it? Because take a case in point, with AI, someone can just have a link for all those papers, and AI can do for you, let me say, an article within just 10 minutes than someone spending almost the whole day or 2 days or 3 days to go through, to read and make research. Do you think that the current papers that are going to be published will be authentic? Because AI can summarize for you those papers, because even I was reading somewhere whereby it was saying that someone can do a PhD dissertation or thesis within just 1 day through use of AI. So what could be your take on that, and what could be your advice going forward? Thank you.
Okay, let me answer. Thank you very, very much for that wonderful information. Indeed, the era we are in, we are either blessed or not blessed to have AI. And it is something that whether we want it or not, we have to really embrace that AI is with us and we should learn how to use it. However, I also want to mention that I am a reviewer for about 10 Elsevier journals, and I'm also an editor for an Elsevier journal, Scientific Africa. Now, what the majority of the journals have done, they have embedded a provision where you can, before even reviewing a paper, you can detect whether this paper was written with AI or it was purely written without the AI. That's one. For journals. For people who are writing dissertation, this is even very interesting. We have what we call a similarity index detector. Okay? And majority of universities have got this software. And one thing that they do is that before you even submit your work for marking, you must put your work to be checked by this software. Recently, what I've done is that they've embedded in this software AI. And it is a concern because you find someone has written this work with AI. Previously, we were not able to detect this. you find the work is returning 20% similarity, which is okay. 25 below is okay, because the implication is that 75% of the work was written by you. 25% of the work, you cited, you got information from people's work. But now what has been done is that in this software, they have AI. It can tell you that, yes, the work is 25% similar, but 99% AI generated. Now, once we have that, it means true, the work is not similar with any other work that is available in the literature, but it was written by AI. So that's a beautiful thing, that as AI is coming, there are also softwares where now you're able to detect whether it was written purely by human or by AI. So now it depends on how we use AI. So on the side of academics, for example, at Chambogo University, I can tell if Betty Auma has submitted a dissertation, it has been written by AI as a supervisor, I can tell, I say, no, look here, there's a problem here. And I explain to the student where this problem is coming from. As an editor and a reviewer, before I even review a paper, there's a provision where I must first check whether this was written by AI. If it is by AI, the paper cannot go for a review. It is just a simple way. I just write a comment. The paper cannot be reviewed because I give a reason. Therefore, it depends how we use this AI, but it is wrong, according to me, that the whole thing is written by AI, not a human being. If we do that, I think we are not doing justice to ourselves. I hope I've answered you.
Thank you, Doctor, for that elaborate answer. And I was still having this feeling as you were having this explanation. Here we are teachers who are in classrooms, and we expect that when we send our learners out to do research, they should be able to read books, visit articles some people have written. But as Stephen brings it, there is this AI. Immediately you give the learner your phone to do that research, or the computer to do the research. They quickly run to this AI. I wonder what probably we could do at this level of the learners, because I'm feeling it deter them from, having that critical thinking and having that analytical mind of bringing concepts out. I wonder what could be a possible solution. At the university, we are using those similarity index. But what about at the secondary level? How are we going to help our learners to come up with quality research? Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Betty. At the moment, I suggest that we embrace Turnitin, even at lower level. Unfortunately, Turnitin on its own is also expensive. That's another problem, because you need to keep renewing. Otherwise, I will still think that Turnitin is a good software, because now it has got that aspect of AI. It tells you similarity index 20, AI 95 or 99. So down there, I'm not quite sure, but people should also help us. Those who are developing these tools should help us on the solution. How do we cap this? You see, I completely agree with you that this is a problem, because critical thinking is going. You don't need to think. It is the AI to think for you. I submit.
Thank you. Members, the floor is still open. We should not worry about this time, but if you have more questions, please, this is the time we can do these interactions. If you can't raise up your hand, just unmute and talk. It is welcome. Yes, I can see Mr. Mark Onyango Kumu from Gulu. You're welcome. Mr. Mark, is there anything you would like to tell us today with respect to the topic we have?
Thank you, Dr. and Madam Betty, for organizing this very important topic for us. I am happy, though I joined a little bit late. I wanted to request that the recordings could be sent here so that we begin to follow. But in the actual sense, what Mr. Kajiba has already said, and you, Betty, you have also elaborated more, is also what is in my mind, because nowadays we are with our learners of nowadays, we are getting them in a very cheap way, and they want to just get up to where they are in a very cheap way. Therefore, it means we are killing our mental thinking. We are killing our mental gymnastic, mental behavior, but we go to become a little bit cheaper, and we cannot recall what we have done. We only do it for passing, but we cannot recall what we have done. We cannot help people to go and show ourselves, because the paper is clean, but we are not clean in the mind. The learners are not clean in the mind, but the papers are clean. So that is very good. I only want to commend the doctor to continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me also say something. Thank you very much, Dr. Patrick, for giving us this time. It is very good as educators to have you see, many of us do research as part of our education, as part of our courses that we are doing at different levels. And research is, as educators, we are always reading, and we base on writings a lot. Yeah, so many times our work remains on just submitted to our supervisors, maybe institutions, and so long as we pass, so long as maybe your research has gone through, maybe and maybe you have finished your course, we rarely publish. There's really a lot of work, a lot of projects, things are done, and they are never published for the whole world. Maybe they just submitted internally and reviewed, and that's all. Yeah, but if we can be able to publish our work, whereby if someone searches for your name, you can even be cited in other literary works, would be a good thing. So contributing to the body of knowledge is very good. So it can even be something done with learners at school, and then it can be a project report, it can be something that can be published. Yeah, so I think this session is very good, especially the various, you have really shared with us a very rich list of credible sites where we can get research, but also where we can publish our research so that we can be able to contribute to the body of knowledge. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to share. I just wanted to submit. Personally, maybe as I conclude, there is some work right from my undergraduate. There's this website of Academia. Academia, it is just a website where it targets university students and other scholars. So I could put there even a project report, anything I could work on, I could publish some of the work. And like, for example, publish something to do with my internship report and all those other documents, which I was taking time on. And up to now, there are a lot of people who go and download, and I see 3,000 downloads, 4,000 downloads, and I really find fulfillment that the work that I put in a lot of effort is benefiting many other people, and they are able to refer, and even it is cited. Yeah, so it is really a good thing. That's what I wanted to share. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can I add something?
Yes.
In addition to what you have said, yes, I like that it is only when we start publishing, it is only when we start sharing what is happening in our schools, that is when people will get to know that, for example, there's something good happening in Palabek Secondary School. There's something good happening, let's say, in Nalia SS. There's something good happening in Makerere College School. It is through reading what people are doing, that's when we shall get to know what others are doing. And that's when people will get recognizing you, that indeed there's something good coming. And there are quite a number of things that you people are doing. The project that you people are doing in schools with the learners, please report it, write it in form of reports, submit it, let your peers criticize the work to make it better. And let those people in China, let those people in India also get to know that something good is coming from Uganda. And it is through that we shall get collaborators. Don't be surprised that a school, example, in Johannesburg, I've read what a school in Nalia SS, a school called Nalia SS, has done. And now they want to make academic trip to Nalia SS, or vice versa. So for me, I encourage you people to do that. Another thing that I wanted also to tell you is that apart from publishing your ideas in journal articles, we also have other platforms. For example, recently I wrote an article in the Daily Monitor, and the idea was, how do we, people who are at the university, get good students coming from school? Is there a way we can contribute to the training that is happening in school? And I said, our colleagues who are at the university, physics department, biology, chemistry, should open doors so that students who are in school who do not have access to certain instruments, which in other words they should be having but they don't have, they should be able to get this access from the different departments that are in the universities. It was an opinion. So if you have thought about something, publishing in a Daily Monitor, New Vision, any of these newspapers is for free. But put that information down, and don't be surprised, once you have written about this, somebody will read and the person will contact you. That, hey, I've read this. How can I come in to help you? So I'm just encouraging the science teachers that let's keep writing. You have thought about something. This in a journal article, always public. And that is why the European The Indians, the Chinese are ahead of us because they are able to share what they have done. I submit.
Thank you very much, Doctor. May we welcome Stephen? Maybe you would finally do that for us for today's presentation. Stephen, welcome. Hello, Mr. Kazibwa Stephen. Stephen's hands remain raised up. Members, I want to say we are very grateful for, you're muted. Stephen says he's muted. Let me check.
Okay. I'm now unmuted.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much, Madam Ouma. Still, I have just more two inputs as well. Thank you so much, Doctor, for the presentation. One, you have hit on one of the points where I was going to ask, how can we collaborate? How can universities collaborate with now secondary schools as we are implementing the competence-based curriculum to facilitate the learning? But you have mentioned something concerning that. Then my second point is on how can we move from just papers, from just publishing to implementing at least a percentage of what we keep on thinking, we keep on researching about. A case in point that when we are at universities, many times we come up with good proposals, we come up with good research articles and the rest of that. But many times when you go to the universities, you'll find that we have a lot of paperwork that has been done by students, but little do we apply those things. Little do we go on and implement a small percentage of it. So how can we scale up that? Now we move away from the paper and then we implement such that we can keep on improving our society. A case in point, like in case someone thinks about coming up with a solar cooker, how can we move it from the paper, just from those papers we write, to actual scaling it up? Are there opportunities that universities can provide such that when children at secondary level come up with such ideas, the professors, the doctors at universities can support, can give a helping hand such that we can now move from the paperwork to actual doing, to actual implementation, that even when we go back home, that these students, we can have such things scaled up. I do submit. Thank you.
Welcome, Doctor, to give a comment to what Stephen has just said. Yes, Dr. Patrick Bedigamba. Stephen raised concerns. I wonder if you could be on, please.
Are we there? We have
Yeah,
lost Stephen.
Stephen completed his comments, and
Can I come?
please respond.
Yes, I like that question. I like that comment, and that's the way we should be going. How can we help the young ones who are coming with innovation? How can we make those innovations practical so that they're able to solve problems in the society? And my response is, as a physics department, Chambogo, we are open, we are willing to support learners. And I'm also happy to say that in the Department of Physics, we have teachers, we have technicians. Therefore, with the different skills that we have in the Department of Physics, we should be able to support whoever has got an innovation to move forward. And I think that's the best way. Just like I said, in research, there's money. Let's turn those good ideas on papers into money by fabricating those solar cookers and selling those solar cookers. And I think that is the way to go. I submit.
Thank you very much. Doctor, I think by these discussions, we have convinced many, and the great ideas we have, we shall be putting them together. I request that members, let us keep the cooperation going on. I was already saying that this presentation we make every Thursday is always there on our OOPS2 forum, website, where we can access it at any time and review the discussions that we have had. That means that if you have any concern, you have any great idea you can put on board that keeps this idea moving on and improving on some of the things we have, please always don't hesitate to doing that. I want to thank Dr. Patrick so much for accepting our humble request to come and give this presentation, because we knew that many of our teachers are doing professional development. They have enrolled in different universities. They are now yearning to have higher qualifications that would require at least doing the research. And I would say that in case we invite you next time, please, Doctor, you would be welcome to give us more highlights. I now invite you at this time to give your closing remarks. If there's something you'd like to say, you can give us your closing remarks as we prepare to close down. Welcome.
Thank you, Betty. I've got something. The first one is, I welcome all the teachers and learners, those who are interested in taking a study trip on things that they don't have. And I'm happy to say that we have a telescope. I know there are teachers who teach about the application of lenses in Senior 3, second term. And one of the things that they mention, always they talk about telescope, and I've never seen a telescope. If you want to see a telescope, come. We have. So I'm inviting, and I'm happy there are schools that have visited our department for academic trip, career guidance, and possible kind of collaboration. The other one is, if you have an idea that you are putting together and you have challenges, please, you're welcome. We can work together to make those ideas realities. Lastly, I just want to say thank you, many thanks for giving me this opportunity. And I look forward for the next opportunity in case you people require me to give another talk. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for this great presentation. Thank you also for opening up to us and opening the doors of coming to check on the telescope, which myself have never seen. I have made only local ones with my students, and it would be very good if we can access the university through you and have better learning, practical learning. Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union is here to do its best towards professional development of its members. And at the moment, we are not only restricting to the members, we are also welcoming people who are from out to learn with us. So it is a great day today that we have had something on research. Next Thursday, again, we shall be having another program. And I want to thank all who have participated today and wish you all the best. We thank God and say He gives us a blessed night. Thank you, everyone.